was insane. Like, I'd never been in front of a crowd that big before. Even, like, walking to do our warm-ups on the other field of, the Hall of Fame stadium and stuff, all those people that were on the stands, like, they would go all the way to the top, and they would look over to the other field watching us warm up and seeing just those people that were watching us, that was already so many, and then walking onto the field before pregame, it was, like, so surreal. It was everything I could ever imagine.
Welcome to Zen Game, where we go inside the world of college sports. I'm here with Toven at Baylor, and excited to have you here.
Hi, well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. So your journey has crossed a lot of different places. We're actually both from the West Coast.
Really? Where are you from?
San Diego.
Oh my gosh, my brother lives in PB.
No way. I lived in
Yes.
La Jolla when
Okay.
I live in Boca now, but my family's in La Jolla. So
Oh my gosh,
PB is literally
awesome.
right down the way.
I love that. Yes, okay, well, that's cool. I love meeting West Coast people.
You spend a lot of time down there. It's fun.
Yes, I do. Every summer, I usually go down for, like, 2 weeks, and I hang out with my brother. We go surfing, kinda just explore different restaurants and stuff, and
It's an awesome thing. And softball is very, very big on the West Coast in general. Probably didn't think you'd find yourself in Texas.
No, actually, growing up, I remember, I always would tell myself, "There's no way that I'm gonna go in the wet or go to, like, the South or play in the humidity. That's not for me." Like, typical West Coast girls getting, like, treated with the best weather over there, so I figured I'd just stay somewhere over there with the drier climate, but here I am.
So you're very, very highly touted at high school. You go to Arizona. How was the first year of your college career kind of before you found yourself at Baylor?
Um, I mean, I was excited. Arizona was my dream school. It was actually the only school I ever visited. I loved the girls. I loved the atmosphere that I was in. I mean, getting to go to the World Series was amazing. But ultimately, I wanted to play more, and I felt that, I could bring my talents elsewhere. And so I entered the portal, and then Baylor was calling, and they were the most persistent. They showed the most effort when recruiting me, and so I felt a lot of that love from a distance already with Baylor, and I couldn't imagine what that would be like being at the school. So yeah, that's how I came to Baylor.
In in the year at Arizona, what do you think some of the bigger lessons were from the time that you spent there?
I think patience and I think being able to handle adversity when things aren't going your way. I think that was the biggest thing for me that entire year. It was definitely a struggle a couple months in, and I started to realize, okay, well, it's not like how it was in high school. I get that. And there were so many other things that I had gone through personally there that I kind of had to navigate and figure out on my own. Cause I mean, I didn't have my parents there to help me all the time. And they're a phone call away, but it's different when you're on your own. So
And your stats were good when you did play that
yes,
year,
they
so
were.
it wasn't necessarily that you were struggling. But what was your batting average, like, approximately in high school, like, down the stretch?
370 maybe. It was
So
it was up
you were
there.
playing in a competitive area, because, like, a lot of times I talk to people, you're the top 10 recruit in the country, but the only people who are batting 500, 600, there are some
Yeah.
crazy high school stats. I
Yeah.
have to imagine either way, just the idea of not playing after being so dominant for so many years must have just been, it was probably something that you probably never even could have imagined.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think there was good talent at Arizona, and I
Every
knew
year there
that.
is.
Yeah, right, and I knew that going in, but, I was very confident in my game, and, I don't wanna bring the stats into it, but, like, I definitely proved on the field that I could be on the big stage at Arizona, and then when I did get my opportunities, um, I did take full advantage of those as well, and, those are some of my greatest memories going in against UCLA and being able to face Megan Ferraymo, like, one of the greatest pitchers in college history, and just being able to also play in front of my family. That was probably the most memorable time other than the World Series, but playing with Arizona.
And how was just getting the experience of being out at the World Series?
Oh my gosh, it was insane. Like, I'd never been in front of a crowd that big before. Even, like, walking to do our warm-ups on the other field of, the Hall of Fame stadium and stuff, all those people that were on the stands, like, they would go all the way to the top, and they would look over to the other field watching us warm up and seeing just those people that were watching us, that was already so many, and then walking onto the field before pregame, oh, it was, like, so surreal, it was everything I could ever imagine.
And you got a hit in that first experience, didn't you?
No, not at the World Series. That one I was a runner, and I was able to score the first run for Arizona, and that was
That's the stat.
yes. Yeah, that was a really big moment just because, we were playing, I think it was Oregon State, I believe, and, they were in the Pac-12 with us, and previously they had beat us in our series, and so being able to come back and beat them was super cool, and just kind of like that little, like, revenge and give back it was fun.
Is it meaningful now to have Arizona in the Big 12 with you?
Yes, actually, I mean, granted, I didn't think I would get a 5th year or even take a 5th year, for next year, but knowing that next year we will be playing them is kinda gonna be a full circle moment for me.
In the 5th year, we'll talk about the interview goes on coming from the injury.
Yes, yeah.
So it's gotta be an exciting thing to know that you thought it might be the end of the road now, but it's
I
not
mean,
gonna be.
yeah, no, I think for sure it's God's plan, I mean, it's already written, and I think that, he knew that I would want to, finish out my career playing against who I started my college career with. I think it's gonna be really exciting, and I think about that a lot.
There's still a Big 12 tournament
Yes.
this season that
Yeah.
you could play
Yeah.
Arizona and, in the college in the whole in a regional or a super regional or even at the College World Series, you never know how some of the postseason can shake out where you might see them again this year, but you got a guarantee that you will see them again next season.
Yes, for sure, I know. I mean, it's very likely that we'll play them in the Big 12 tournament, I mean, that would be awesome as well, especially with this group of girls this year. I mean, I came in with a lot of them my transfer year, like Shaylin, Presley, Shannon, and, not to mention all the other girls on the team. But yeah, it would be really exciting to play them with this group this year.
And it's a heck of a team, so
Right. I mean, I love them so much, and I'm really glad that things are finally starting to take a turn for us during season and stuff.
and so you find yourself in the portal. It's an experience that a lot of college athletes have now. When you entered the process, what was the way that you kind of thought about finding your new school after your initial experience?
Because, I spent my first year in college, I gained a little bit more, maturity and just becoming older. I definitely was looking for a coaching staff that cared for me off the field versus just my performance on the field and what I could contribute to the team on the field. I wasn't really when I entered the portal, I didn't think that like, oh, I have to go to a Power 5 school or else I'm done. Like I was very content with coming back to the West Coast and going to a smaller, mid-major and just being able to play really. Um, but Baylor was, like, the first school that came knocking on my door, and I just remember thinking, like, "This is my sign that, like, I'm meant to be, at a big school. I'm meant to showcase my talents. I'm meant to help out a team that wants me," and so, yeah, it was nerve-wracking for sure, but, I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of doubt, if that makes any sense.
It does. And so Baylor reached out pretty much first. It was
Yeah.
immediate. And you kind of,
Yes.
even without visiting necessarily, kind of got the immediate feeling. It sounds like
Yeah.
this feels right, which is exciting. Did you go take a visit to campus before you committed, or was it just kind of they reached out and you were instantly like, I'm in?
Well, okay, so I entered the portal, and it takes about, like, 24 hours, they say, for your name to, like, get cleared through and just, all the college coaches get to see, and, Coach Moore had emailed me, sent me a very flattering email, and, we got on the phone, we got in touch, and our hitting coach, happened to be in California the following weekend, and we got into contact, and he was like, "I'll come visit you at your house," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, my house?" Like, I've never had any college coach, try and offer that, and so he sat in almost 2 hours of traffic coming from Huntington Beach down to LA or up to LA and knocked on my door, and he had a conversation with my parents. They shared lunch. My grandpa actually came over. He had a meaningful conversation with Coach Hoot as well, and just being able to watch that and see how much effort was being put into, me, and not to mention I wasn't even committed or I haven't even said anything as far as, like, wanting to, visit or anything. I just thought that was so impressive, and it would have been dumb of me to not take a chance on Baylor, and so after that, kinda solidified the fact that I was gonna go take a visit, and so 2 weeks later, I was out here in Waco. Dari was my host, and she was, giving me the full tour. I was on the golf cart with all the coaches, my parents were here, and yeah, I knew that this is where I wanted to be.
At the in-home visit, was there anything that was said that particularly stuck with a family member or you in particular?
I think overall, just the conversation in general just meant a lot to me, but, Coach Hoot was just saying, you and Presley, who they were also recruiting at the time, who I actually played in travel ball with a couple of years before. He was just saying, like, "You 2 up the middle could be the best middle infield in the country," and knowing the chemistry that I had with Presley before, she was at shortstop and I was at third, just the left side duo over there, I knew immediately, like, "You guys are correct." Like, I 100% believe you guys, and, yeah, I mean, I think it shows 2 years ago, me and Presley breaking the double play record and stuff at Baylor. I think they were right, and they were foreseeing the future for us at Baylor.
So that was the first big thing for you, was just seeing this vision of, I'm gonna play with this person that I have such a high level of respect for, that I've already gotten to play with, and knowing that I could be back with her, kinda give you a feeling of home?
Yes, for sure. We actually ended up living together when we got here. It was me, Presley, Shannon, and Shay, so all of the transfers, we all lived together, and so it was really nice. It was a good bonding moment just because, like, we were all new, but then again, it's like we weren't freshmen, so we were a little bit older, and just being able to connect with each other, and I think that really helped, um bond us with the returners of the team as well, and so, yeah, I'm really thankful.
Do you have any memories in particular of your year together when you guys were all rooming? Any fun
Uh,
off the field things that are shareable stories here?
yeah, actually, I think it was our first night. Was it our first? I think it was our first night. Shannon had not fully moved in yet, so she wasn't a part of this, memory, but me, Shay, and Presley, I think it was, like, 10:30 PM, and we were just bored. Our house is brand new, like, nothing in it, and we were like, "What should we do?" And we're like, "Let's just go to the field." And, Presley is, like, a huge vlogger, so she brought her little camera with her, and we go to the field, and it's, like, pitch black out there, and we're in the stadium, and we're just pretty much envisioning what the season was gonna be like. Like, we were, I guess, mimicking commentators saying, like, "Oh, like, Shay hits a home run, like, crowd goes crazy." Like, just we felt like little girls again, and it was just such a refreshing experience, and that was probably my first and favorite memory of us together at Baylor.
I think of Presley and Shay, we're gonna be on this show later today. If you could kinda share one thing about each of them that people wouldn't know.
Um, Shay is a teddy bear. Like, I know she looks intimidating and, her she's insane on the field, but she is funny and she is just a teddy bear when she's off the field. And she's also like kinda like that mom figure, because she's older and stuff, and she kinda shows us the younger girls the ropes and whatnot. And Presley, she's just goofy. Like, that girl is so goofy, and I feel like she's kinda the same as Shay, like, when they're in the field, like, they're very locked in, serious, but Presley, she's just a goofball, like, everything's funny, like, everything is rainbows and sprinkles with that girl. That's the only way I can explain her.
And then if you could describe your own contribution to that group, what would it be?
I don't I feel like all 3 of us are the same. I would say I'm definitely the most loud, for sure. I'm the loudest, I'm, like, I guess fearless in a sense, like, I don't really get embarrassed, and so I'm kinda the one that, like, jokes with them and embarrasses them a little bit, and they might sometimes be like, "Stop," or whatever, but I don't know, I just think it's funny.
Sounds like it's all a complementary blend of personalities.
Yes, yes, it is.
So you finally do get here, and it sounds like you kinda already knew that you were probably gonna come, but was there a specific moment during that initial visit where you're like, "This just feels very right. I know I'm in the right place." Like, you kinda had that, it sounds like you were getting sign after sign, this is gonna be the right thing for you, but was there a, like, kind of stamped moment where you're like, this is gonna be good for me?
You know, the recruits obviously get to spend time with the team alone, and so when Dari took me to go see some of the girls that were still in town, because this is during summer, so some girls had gone home, but some were still here, and so I went to go see them, and just I remember the feeling of being so welcomed from the moment I stepped foot in. It was Ashlyn and Taylor Strain's house, and Casey West's house too. I stepped foot in their house, and they were just so excited to see me, almost like I was already on the team, and I was like, "Wait, what is this?" Like, you guys are, like, super nice and, just very welcoming, and I felt the love from pretty much everybody, the acceptance, and the way they treated me that night, and we all went to Topgolf later, and we were just hitting golf balls, laughing, and from that moment, I definitely knew, like, these girls are who I wanna surround myself with, these girls are who I wanna be on the field with, win or loss.
It's a beautiful thing. So basically, it was first kind of some of the surroundings, the people you were gonna get to
For
experience
sure,
life with. Sounds like no regrets there.
yeah, no, it was a very different experience than what I've ever experienced before in, like, any of my other teams. Um, Granted, like, all the girls that I played with are great, but these specific set of girls, it was indescribable the way I felt. It was like a brand new feeling. So, it was very refreshing.
You think faith being so ingrained in the culture here is a big factor as to why the camaraderie is so good?
100%, and I think I didn't come from a very religious household, like, I didn't really know about, like, my faith at all really before coming here, and I think what I appreciated the most was that the coaches said from the get-go that there is no pressure, there is no mandatory anything that you have to do as far as, like, religion, and so being able to go on my own walk of my faith on my own time, on my own pace was really important to me, and I think that, um, that helped me kind of intertwine with the rest of the team's faith and just kind of seeing, like, the same vision as them. Yeah.
And so the freshman year, which is challenging, you when you're used to being as dominant as you were, probably most of the teams you played on, maybe outside of some travel and all-star games, you were the best player on the team. You get to college and you're not playing. That's hard.
Mhm.
What tools were you using at that time to make it through that time? Because a lot of athletes I'll talk to will say faith was their main tool, but if faith wasn't really a big tool in your toolbox before you came here, what were you using to kind of get through that challenging time?
Mm. I leaned on my closest friends on that team. One of them is Allie Enright. She's a outfielder now at Texas A&M, and I'm so happy for her. But we leaned on each other. Both of us are struggling really, really hard, and I also leaned on a few other girls. Um, and then my family as well. Like, I would call my parents pretty much weekly, and I would just kind of they were my outlet. They were my source of being able to vent and express how I'm really feeling, you know? I mean, I was still a good teammate. I still showed up. I still gave my 120% effort every single day. Um, but yeah, I guess just leaning on the people who were closest to me was my way.
And you still got to have a triumphant moment, score in the biggest stage in softball. So you got to still have a little bit of that feeling of what it's like to kind of be at the top of the
Mhm.
mountaintop. But
Yeah.
then you get here. Was there a moment, because you said there wasn't any pressure on you to necessarily go deeper in your faith, but was there a moment here that something a coach said or a teammate said or just an experience that really made you feel like this might be a valuable part of your life?
Mhm. Yeah, so we do a team spiritual retreat every January right before we do our first practice. And so when we go to this ranch, and it's just 24 hours in this ranch, and it's all of the girls and coaching staff, and we get together and we worship and we pray, and then we split up into smaller subgroups, and we just kind of have deeper talks within those groups, and then we come together again as a big group, we talk, we share, and so um, after the first small group and discussion, we came together and just hearing everyone like talk and say how they've seen God and say and share how they could be better and how to incorporate the word into their everyday lives, not just with softball, but them in their personal lives and whatnot. That really stuck with me. I remember I just felt like this overwhelming sense kinda come over me while it was Anna Watson that was talking, and I just remember I started to get so teary-eyed, and I started crying, and I was like, "What is this? Like, I don't know what's happening to me, but I like it." Um, and so I think that was, like, that was a pivotal moment when I realized, okay, faith is important, and I do want to dig deeper into this, and I want to, um, see where it takes me, and I actually ended up getting baptized later that day.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was a really quick process.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying not to cry right now,
You're
but
allowed to.
yeah. No, yeah, that was huge for me, and that's probably one of my fondest memories here at Baylor.
So it was even less about you don't there's not specific words you remember, but it was more of just the feeling of listening to her and maybe a feeling that you yourself wanted to be able to embrace in your own life.
Yes. Yeah.
Enough so that how does that process work from like you're listening to kind of someone else's testimony and then from there, how are you able to even set the process up to get baptized later that day?
So, there was a few other girls that were already planning to get baptized, and thankfully, oh my gosh, it was so cold there, but there was like a hot tub, so it was all good. It was all good. But yeah, so that was already in the agenda, I guess, for our spiritual retreat, and it's not like it was a you need to RSVP, to like get baptized. The coaches were already saying, like, from the time that we started the retreat, if any of you want to do this, if you want to join the girls that are already planning on it, like, feel free, like, speak up. Like, we would love, like, the more the merrier, let's make heaven a party. And so, yeah, I mean, I felt so inclined to it after that specific moment to to get baptized. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, I don't know if that answers your question,
It
but
does.
okay.
It was very quick. And I feel, is there any like, do you feel that anything changed within you from kind of even kind of the beginning of that day where it doesn't sound like there was much of an expectation, really a pressure at all to do any of that? You just kind of found yourself listening to someone and felt that you were ready. What kind of changed before and after that event for you?
I think I felt so much closer to, like, not only my teammates. I mean, I already loved them so much, and I'd spent the fall with them, but I felt closer to God for sure. I think me having that moment where I was just crying, and I just was like, "It's not stopping, like, I can't stop crying." And it wasn't sad or anything, it was pure joy and relief. I think from that moment on, like, I've definitely grown more. Like, I read the Bible. I have these little notifications set up on my phone now. Our team does every Sunday a chapel. So during season, like right before our pregame or right after our pregame meals on Sundays, we do like a chapel service that Danny holds, or sometimes it'll be Coach Newman, but most of the time it's Danny, and she's amazing. And every time she speaks, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you just this stuff flows out of her like so easily. And yeah, I think becoming yeah, taking what she's saying and what God is speaking through Danny a lot more intentionally and using that in my life is how I've changed since that moment at the spiritual retreat.
If you could think of one moment where it's either been something from the Bible or something that she said or combination that just so deeply resonated,
Mm,
what would it be?
be a light. That's what we always preach, and I remember she first brought that up 2 years ago, and that kinda became, like, our team thing. Just, be a light. Like, every time you step on the field, like, don't play for yourself, play for God. Let God shine through you and hope that it touches somebody in the stands, whether that's one person or 100 people, you know? And so just playing for something bigger and being a light in somebody's life every day.
Do you have a memory on this team specifically of when someone was a light for you and just what difference that made?
Yeah, no, Anna Watson she was a light in my life because last year she was there for me when I tore my ACL, and she had gone through it 2 years before. And so she was like my biggest supporter and all that. Just being able to lean on her with how I was feeling physically and then, like, emotionally as well, and just kind of having everything come to a halt because of an injury, and so, yeah, honor really made an impact on my life.
And was it just mostly, like, above everything else, just the hope that she gave you that it's gonna get better?
Oh, yeah, for sure, watching her play and just be such a gamer, post-op and all that and being cleared and whatnot, seeing that was very inspiring, especially it being her last year being her final year playing, and me kind of sitting back and watching everything from a distance, seeing how competitive and fearless she was, knowing that she went through something that was so traumatic, was very inspiring, and then her constantly giving words of encouragement, even though she's gotta focus on her own game here, she's gotta focus on her own, performance was just really touching to know that, she's got my back even when she's out there in the outfield doing her thing, she's still caring for me, emotionally.
And she's still talking to you all this season?
Yeah, I kinda reached out to her the other day, I just asked how she's doing, she just got engaged and stuff, so just keeping up with her personal life, and, she reached out, I think, a little bit before that, just congratulating me on how I'm doing so far, and, again, just, you know, she's, acknowledging, how far I've come from my recovery and all that stuff.
It's amazing that people like that always find time to get in your phone or
Yeah.
come back at the perfect times.
Yeah.
If you remember back to that day where you did have, um, kinda all these tears did just kinda come out of you and you're able to kinda purge,
Mhm.
before you're able to be baptized and kinda it's a pretty beautiful I don't think a lot of people are fortunate enough to get a day like that in life where you're able to have such an amazing,
Mhm.
um, such just an incredible kind of ascension, for lack of a better word, to feel so much release from your body and
Mhm.
allow kind of for a new version of you to express itself. What is it you feel like as all that was leaving your body that left you that day on that retreat?
Just, like, relief, like, that's, like, the biggest word that comes to mind is just I felt like I could just breathe and I can just relax and, let go, and I just knowing that all 20 something girls right next to me had my back and they were feeling the exact same way, they were there supporting me, I didn't feel shame, I didn't feel embarrassment, I felt welcomed.
And it wasn't even important. It doesn't even sound like it was necessarily important what you were letting go of, but just that there was this energy within you that maybe was holding you back that you were able just to say, even if I don't know what this is, it's all coming out of me right now. I feel relieved. I feel happy that it's leaving my body,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of ready to start anew that day.
Mhm. Yep, that's exactly how I felt.
It's a wonderful that's a wonderful thing. And on kind of the other side of things, because those are challenging moments,
Mhm.
some fun and joyful, but definitely powerful ones to look back on. What do you think the most fun you've had here is?
Um, Probably beating OU. Yep. I think a lot of people are probably gonna say that, but, I mean, that feeling was I mean, it just I can't describe that feeling really, like, there hasn't been a feeling that has touched that same caliber, I guess, and then also knowing, that we were their only loss the entire season, like, they were whatever it was and won, and it was so funny because it was always like we would just be like, "And one," and we made, like, a joke out of "and one," and I mean, no discredit to OU, they are amazing and, they have the utmost talent on that team, and they have brought so much viewership and popularity to softball, I mean, you can't thank them enough for that, they've been a huge part of softball's success over the past couple years, um, but yeah, no, that moment was probably my favorite of all time here so far. I mean, the next favorite moment will be making it to the World Series, but until then, yeah, that's my favorite one.
Hopefully twice.
Yes, hopefully. Hopefully.
But it's this feeling of doing something impossible, right? Like it's almost you said like and one, like it's almost impossible to beat that team, or at least in last year's version of softball.
Mhm.
You were the only team to do it. And so to come in and be able to achieve something like that must give everybody in the team a feeling of if you believe that you can do it,
Mm.
you can.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, we have the skill set, we have the talent, we have the drive, and I think it just comes down to, you know, having that snowball effect and just letting everything come together and, line up the way that it's supposed to, and we can do very big things.
What was the first moment of that game where you kind of felt like, or maybe the team felt like, oh my God, we could win this game?
I think it was Dari. Dari coming in and just owning that mound and just owning those batters and really giving them a tough time. It was like, "We're in this thing," you know? Like, it starts with the pitchers for sure, you know? They set the tone, especially when we're at home. It's like setting the tone is a really, really big part of a game and determining, like, the success of it, and so watching her just completely dominate that first inning and everybody's energy just being so hyped and, you know, we're all in it together, and we had the same mentality, the same drive for that whole entire game, all 7 innings. Yeah, that's when I knew, like, yeah, we can do this, and then, of course, Shay's home run was just whoo, my heart was out of my chest. I think I peed a little. I think I did. I don't know. I was so excited. But yeah, the Dari and then Shay, those 2 moments right there, I was like, "Yeah, we can do this."
Yeah, it's funny because in a game like that, there's kind of like the false sort of feeling at first. Like you want to get yourself hyped up and you're like,
Yeah.
all right, we can win. We're going to win today. But like, I don't know if there's a full belief yet. But I feel
Mm.
like first inning, you get through defensively and you say, wait a second. All right. Like we're
Yeah.
like, all right, we're here.
Yeah, for
But then I
sure.
think you see a home run and it's like, all right, like,
Mhm. And even before that, you know, we were getting base hits, dropping bunts, being like, getting down the line, being safe, like, all those things, like, kind of adding together. It was a buildup to the final moment of Shay's home run, like, of, "Oh my gosh, like, we are really that good." You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, those little things, like, were already making us believe more and more, and then Shay's was like the cherry on top, like, "Yep, we got this. We're good."
it's nice to have a hitter in your lineup that can mash against anybody.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. I'm in awe every time we have BP, I'm like, "You mishit that and it still went over, like, how are you doing that?" But yeah, no, she's amazing. She's one of the best hitters I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, any lineup in either baseball or softball, and you got someone like that in the order,
Mhm.
you know that you're better that day because she's there.
Yep, for sure, yeah. But I mean, of course, you know, like, every single person on that team, it's everybody on that team has to, contribute in order for the success to happen, so, I mean, it starts at the dugout too. Like, they need to be loud, energetic, you know, uplifting the whole time, like, regardless. I mean, I feel like if a team can show that or if you can't tell if a team is losing 10-0 or if they're winning 10-0, I think you have a good chance at winning.
Yeah, what's your favorite chant that you guys do?
Oh gosh, the first one that comes to mind because it's funny is, I can't believe I'm gonna do this and I'm not in the softball uniform. Um, it's like, "Shay's in the box, you scared, you scared. Shay's in the box, you scared." And it's just really funny because you know that's what they're thinking anyways, like, "Oh my gosh, Shaylin's in the box." Like, you are actually scared.
I'd
So
be terrified if I was a
right.
pitcher facing her.
Right, when we do, inter squad, I'm like, "I am touching the grass. I am not gonna be in the dirt when she's in the box because I don't want a ground ball
When there's a
coming."
hitter like that, it's actually mathematically questionable whether they should ever pitch to her. Like,
Right, right, I mean, hence why she has so many walks.
yeah,
I think last year was it last year? I think she got I think the like, an accolade for an on-base percentage because she got walked so many times.
there's no reason. Like, it's like actually like, and they're when you have a hitter like that, the funny thing is, um, you'll have games where the pitcher tries to pitch around and she's such a good hitter that even if she'll turn like a absolute ball into a home run
Yeah.
because you almost have to because no one wants to throw a good
Mhm.
pitch to you because they realize like this isn't going to end well for me. So of course you're
Right.
terrified.
Right. Yep. I mean, that's why I tell myself, I'm like, "Thank you for being my teammate." Like, so glad we are teammates.
Yeah, my baseball career didn't last as long as I would have liked, but I do remember one of my last like seasons. There's a batter who hit a ball off me. It's still going. Like I'm convinced. Like I kind of knew going in that I was going to be overmatched, and I tried to pitch, and
Mhm. I
so that's
mean,
how they feel.
yeah, I mean, props to you though, you know, for competing. I feel like it's That's the only way you can go at a batter like that, like, you have to compete.
Oh, no, I don't think I knew any better in between, like, my 8th grade summer and my 9th grade year, but yeah, I had learned. I think that was actually probably the beginning of me learning, like, I had, like, 2 pitches. It worked really well throughout middle school, and then the second I got to high school, I realized, like, "Nah, this isn't gonna I'm gonna have to learn things like podcasting. This is probably not gonna this probably isn't gonna be. I'm not like you. I didn't have the college sports was not in my cards."
Yeah, I mean, this is going pretty well, though. I mean, this is a good podcast
It's a
so far.
it's a pyramid. I think that part of the pyramid, it was the end for me. Sadly, I got to leave it. I got to leave it behind. That was a bummer.
Alright.
But looking back to your to season before this one, before now you're getting back and playing, I'm sure it's inspirational. I think you probably are able to reach new heights. But during the year where you did get injured, you didn't actually ask about it. Going back to the injury, what was it like? How did it happen? Where was the moment where you kind of knew this could be bad?
Yeah, so it was the Marionetta Classic, which is in Palm Springs, California, and that's usually the 3rd week of season, so it's yeah, 3rd week of preseason, and, it was our game against Oregon, and my whole family was there, like, aunts, cousins, uncles, mom, dad, brothers, sisters. It's a big crowd, I'm back at home in California, and so, we're playing Oregon, and it's the top of the 7th, we were home, and so we just needed 3 outs, and we were gonna win. We have 1 out, and one of the girls hits a I'm on defense, and one of the girls hits a deep fly ball to right field, and, they trying to relay it back in, and there's runners running, and I get the ball, and I go, and I get in a rundown with one of the runners, and as I go to tag her, I stop, and I try and cut into a different direction, and as soon as my foot hit the ground, I just felt and heard the loudest pop in my knee, and I went down, and that was probably the most excruciating pain that I have ever been in. I thought I was gonna throw up. I couldn't look at my knee, and I'm laughing now, but, like, in the moment, it was terrible. But, yeah, I remember laying on the ground, and I was just like, "This is not good." Like, I knew that this was not good. And, after, like, 5 minutes, I got up, and I was like, "Okay, you know what? I was just kinda being a sissy, like, it's fine, I can walk, I'm walking normal, I wasn't limping." I was like, "I can do this." And I was like, "We just need 1 more out." And, my trainer was like, "I'm sorry, like, I can't let you be out on the field." And I was like, "I'm fine, like, it's okay." She was like, "I just can't." And so, walked off the field. Thankfully, I had my family with me, and so they walked with me into the med tent, and the, physician that was there, he had told me, "It's for sure not ACL, it's gonna be MCL and whatnot." I knew a little bit about MCL, and I knew that, like, that ligament was self-healing, so I was like, "Okay, I'm optimistic, like, I'll be back in, like, a month, it's fine." And so I didn't play the rest of that weekend, and so then I finally go home, they get an MRI done on Tuesday, and then on Thursday, I got the call that my ACL was in fact torn completely, and part of my meniscus was torn as well. And so I remember having to stand in front of my teammates and, kinda break the news, and just that was the hardest thing that I had to do, is just kinda tell my team, like, "I'm done, guys, like, I'm sorry," you know? And so that was difficult for sure, but I think after I knew and I got confirmation of what it was, I felt a little bit of clarity after the emotional side was over, and I took the prehab before the surgery. I took that very serious, getting my range of motion back as much as possible, taking away as much swelling as I could, and just being as prepared as possible for surgery. Um, and yeah, that moment was really tough. But I think having my family there in the moment that it happened was so much more beneficial than I could ever imagine. Because if I was not home and I did that away, I don't know how I would have done mentally. But yeah, having them there with me was definitely crucial for just all of my recovery.
And as you had to learn to contribute to the team in a different way because you couldn't play. It's crazy though. You did want to keep playing that day.
Yeah,
You had
no,
to, you had to be forced off the field.
yeah, no, I truly believed. I was like, "No, I'm okay, I promise." Like, I was leaning on it, putting all my weight, like, everything was good. I was like, "No, I'm okay now. I just don't mind the last 5 minutes of me crying and, me in agony. I'm okay, but yeah, no. Being in a completely different, position, I guess, like, being just on the bench and kind of seeing everything from a distance and not being so wrapped up in the game and how fast it is. I think it was very beneficial to me, again, going back to Arizona, like, I was on the bench, but I was fully healthy. I just wasn't playing, and so coming back to that same, I guess, position, but different situation, I think it helped me grow, and I think it helped me face kind of some of the trauma that I had gained from Arizona and just realizing, like, being on the bench isn't a bad thing, like, I'm learning how to be a better teammate, not on the field. I'm learning how to talk to my teammates, and, I gained a lot of emotional intelligence from that and just being able to guide Leah Cran, who was a freshman at the time, and she was the 2nd string shortstop. And just being able to, encourage her and tell her, like, "This is how we do things. This is you're meant to be here," and because I know she had as a freshman, again, like, you go in unexpectedly because, someone goes down, it's like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is crazy," and it was during the time that, conference play and stuff was starting as well. Um, Being able to show her and teach her how Baylor does things and how, it's okay and that, you're gonna do alright, even though you're a freshman. I think that was really beneficial not only to her, but me as well as a person.
Do you give her encouragement at all? Because you had the perspective of not playing as a freshman. They're like, "Hey,
Mhm,
do you have any idea how lucky you are? Like, you're getting to
mhm,
go out and do
yeah.
this thing."
She felt a little bit uneasy just because, she unexpectedly went in. She didn't know what she was doing, and, nerves got to her for sure, like, I'm just this freshly out of high school girl coming in and playing with a bunch of returners. But yeah, no, I definitely helped her and let her know, like, "You are meant to be here. Um, this is an opportunity that you absolutely need to take advantage of," Like, I am in your like, regardless if I play the same position as you, I am in your corner 100% at the end of the day, like, we are teammates, and I'm here to help you, and I wanna see you succeed. I don't wanna see you fail. I don't wanna see you fail out of, like, the benefit of my own self, Um, and so I think reminding her that she's got all the tools that she needs to be here and that she's got not only the support of me, but the rest of the girls that also believe in her that she can play and she can start. I think that really helped Leah and just kind of bring out the player that she is. And I mean, now it's showing now that she's recovered too from her same injury. Um,
That's wild.
yeah, it happened the same exact way, which is crazy. But yeah, no, I think it helped her for sure.
It's one of those things that's almost hard to believe.
Yeah, no, that was an intense moment for sure watching that because I mean, she'll talk about it too. But it happened at practice, the same exact play, the same exact position. And I just remember I was like, there's no way. There's no way that, because Leah was somebody that I took under my wing, an underclassman and stuff. And so I don't know what God was trying to say in that moment by that happening, but I got to, I guess, encourage her and kind of guide her what I was going, guide her through all the emotions that I went through with the injury. And we actually shared the same doctor, the same surgeon. Um, and yeah, I think that brought us closer together for sure.
Gave you an opportunity to be the light.
Yes. Yes, it did. Yeah. We definitely got way closer and I would consider Leah one of my I mean, I'm close with everybody, but Leah, she's one of my best friends for sure. And I think those 2 moments, um, definitely contributed a lot to that.
And the injury is gonna give you more time with her.
Yep. Yeah, it is. I know. I tell her that all the time. I'm like, "Aren't you so happy I get another year with you?" And she's like, "Yes, like, thank you." Like, not thank you, but, like, thank goodness that, like, I get to spend more time with her.
That's a blessing.
Mhm.
And, kinda lastly, you're playing again.
Mhm.
You're healthy. It's exciting.
Yeah.
How did it feel this year just when you got to go back on the field?
Um, I was ready. Like, honestly, I felt like, I was back at home, like, things were finally back in order, you know? I just felt so much love and support from all my teammates, like, I got so many encouraging messages and just nice things said to me, before the game and stuff, and so coming back out in the field was nice. Yeah.
And what do you think you're most excited about? Like, you know, rest of this season, you got one more after you. If you look at look into the future in the remainder of your time at Baylor, what are you most excited about?
Probably a postseason run. I'm most excited for that this year and then next year as well. And then also playing Arizona. Like that is something I'm really, really looking forward to. I mean, it's the full circle moment again. Like, I and then I guess I look forward to just winning for Coach Moore. Like Coach Moore is the greatest man, the greatest coach in this planet. Like I wholeheartedly stand by that. And every moment that I get, I always make sure to talk highly of him. And then of course the rest of the coaching staff as well. Like I say it time and time again, coming from where I came from and the experiences that I had with previous coaches, this is the cream of the crop. Like there, it does not get better than this. Truly, with how competitive softball is and how much things can get wrapped up as far as like stats and performance and stuff. Coach Moore and the staff, they make sure to care about you off the field. They pray about you. They check in with your grades. There's so many things here that are so different from the typical college experience, if you will. And yeah, I guess just continuing to win and continuing to showcase what Baylor is about and who we are to whoever's watching. I think that's what I'm most excited for, and I'm most excited to continue to do.
I'm excited to watch it. It's been awesome having you on this show today, and I'm
Thank you.
looking forward to a successful season.
Thank you so much.